And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the Dynasty Invasion pack for Rising Sun. This adds 2 new factions. These factions are foreign factions, essentially, coming in. Not only are they coming in with their forces, but they're bringing their own gods with them, that they're the lucky gods that they worship. And so this adds 2 new factions, some monsters specifically for these factions, or Oni, I'm sorry, I keep calling them monsters, but Onis for these factions. And it also adds a new set of cards. Let me show you. The first thing the expansion adds is 2 new clans. We have the Moon Clan and the Sun Clan. Now the Moon Clan is interesting because all their figures count as 2 force. They start at 2, they could go higher. And the difference is they can never have 2 figures anywhere, period. So they're limited to 2, but they're always at least 2 force each. This especially is useful when they're trying to control the kami because they're 2 force up there also. Although they do not start with a ton of money and they have pretty low honor at number 8. The Sun Clan, whenever they win a tie in honor, you get a coin and a victory point, and the tied opponent loses a coin and victory point. This can be used to great effect if you can tie people a lot, and considering they start with 2 honor, which is pretty high, and some money, that's going to make them useful. Both of these clans, though, are very specific, they say in the bottom of them, cannot acquire monsters other than lucky gods. What that means is all the different monsters in the game, these 2 clans can't do. Instead, this expansion is going to come with its own set of lucky gods that these guys are going to be able to purchase from, and only them. There are 7 lucky gods. Each of them has its own season, and you just put them with the cards of that season so they come out. And these are the only 2 clans that can buy from these, and of course these are the only ones they can get. So they're interesting. This guy here with a giant fish, he's just some normal dude, but when he's killed, you get a whole pile of money. So I guess you're trying to angle for him to get killed. This one is a really unique one. It counts as a daimyo and as a stronghold, so it's a good combination between the 2 of those. This one here counts as 8 force during the harvest mandate, so wherever he is, you're going to win the harvest. It's a really convenient one. This guy counts as a Shinto and can replace any Shinto when sent to worship, so that can be really useful to get in other people's faces. This person counts as 4 force if there's an opposing monster. So your opponent likes monsters, bring this person in. Here, when they enter any province, you can force someone there to kick someone out. This is, I guess they're afraid of someone who has a big snake tail like that. I would also. And this guy counts as a virtue card and gives you 3 coins every time you acquire a virtue card. If you notice, these seem nicer than the Oni of hate and Oni of blood and all that jazz. There's also a new set of cards that can be used in this game, designated by the boat. And of course, they have all your favorite Onis involved in them. There's a new upgrade where basically if you have exactly 1 figure, you can summon 2 Bushi there, which can kind of be like a nice, not ambush because everyone sees that you have it, but you have that threat to do it. Some new virtues, dignity, get 2 points every time you summon a monster. I love this card because I love monsters. Patience, if you don't have the most points, you get 1, so if you're in last place. Form of the Dragon, this is going to help you if you like to win a lot of battles. This gives you an extra point for each token you get. Here you can get money to lose an honor. And then the Pacifist, you get 4 if you don't have the most War Province tokens, kind of the opposite of the Form of the Dragon. And then Way of the Snake. This one's really interesting and really works well in a 3-player game. After each kami turn is you can do a Betray Mandate. So you can do a lot of betraying, a really nasty card, the Way of the Snake. So a lot of different cool cards in this set. It actually is one of my favorite sets in the game. So the new monsters are all small, good-looking sculpts. I think my favorite's this guy because he's just carrying a giant fish on his shoulders. And this lady still scares me because she has this big long tail. Oh no, maybe it's a dragon. Maybe that isn't. Is she part? I can never tell where these people end and the animals begin. But anyhow, the new forces are good. My only complaint would be the gray ones are a little close in color to the monsters. I don't know. It's not that close, right? But it still is a little bit close to how they look. But the models are great for these. And especially was it the gray one? I love this particular stance is really cool. And these guys here, I don't know, these guys look like they're just ready to fight. So that's pretty neat. The cards are, of course, good quality and such. And all this, as far as I can tell so far, fits in the base box easily. For me, this is another must-have expansion. Now, I don't care about the extra players that it adds. You can play with 5 or 6 if you just get the base game, or you can have more factions. I'm pretty happy with the number of players that the game has as is. But I really like these factions. I like them because I think their special abilities are great. The one that wins ties, that's a kind of a finesse faction as you're trying to have ties with people so that you can win them because it gets you extra stuff. That's a neat thing. And the fact that you win ties is pretty handy. Or you're striving to win ties because you're going to keep your honor up if you possibly can. It changes the way everyone else plays too. The other one, the Moon Clan, they remind me of the Macron from Cosmic Encounter because they're stronger, but you can have fewer of them, which at first seems like a bit of a weakness. They're not really like as keen on the monsters because they can only have so many figures in, but it really helps, especially when you're going for the Kami. You're going to win those a lot, and just that strong presence on the board. The fact that both have their own set of gods is interesting. It does kind of change the dynamics if you're playing with just one in the game or if you're playing with both. If you're playing with both, they're both fighting over the same set of gods, and everyone else in that game, let's say you're playing a 4-player game and 2 people are using these, and the other 2 will probably have a slightly bigger pool to go from, but it never feels like there's too little. And they're nice. I like them because they're somewhat happier than the Blood Oni and Hate Oni, right? These are a little bit more cheerful people coming in. And so that's neat. And they also just have a different feel to them. They're more of not so bombastic as in this guy has 4 power and this. They're more, I'm going to do some cool little things. And so what it does is it makes these guys feel like really different cool factions. And not better than the original ones, but just different. But they're 2 factions I would gladly play with any of them. If I was ranking the factions of this game in order, I think the Sun faction would probably be in my top 2 or 3 factions. And the Moon faction probably right behind that. But the thing I like about Rising Sun is I'm pretty happy with every faction, and these are 2 good ones that are at it. Like I said, that new set of boat cards, though, that's something I would add to lots of games, but we found it especially effective in a 3-player game because the 3-player game, one person's not going to be in alliance every round, and that has that betrayal card, which can really change things, and it just seemed like this one worked really well in a 3-player situation. Anyway, it's Dynasty Invasion. Highly recommend it. Get it. Dice Tower Judgment. Excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.